Okay, so month two of farming Kylo Ren, Galactic Legend. It's been a journey so far. It's not been as bad as I thought it would be. It's not as bad and it's probably not as good as I thought it could be. It's probably about what I expected, which is, I guess for Galaxy of Heroes, the best thing you can say, right? I think, reflecting on what's been going on with the community the last few days and some of the things that have happened. There were some long farms in the past. I think that this farm in particular, I'd say I'm about halfway through. It hasn't been really fun. And like I think that what I liked about the other farms were the, maybe the requirements weren't so strict or maybe they weren't so high. I don't know what it is, but I felt like this farm in general just feels like it's a real grind. I love grindy games. And it's weird to me that this particular character feels bad. Um, I'm excited to get to him. I'm not going to stop the farm, but it just, I guess I expected it to be more, gratifying as I went along. And part of that, I think, is I'm finding that the first order teams in general, like for GAC and for territory wars and territory battles, just aren't that great in general. I think that you do force your opponents, maybe like in a GAC situation, to maybe use a bit better team. And I've caught a few people off guard; they've lost and kind of wasted a team, and that's good. But it's definitely you're not getting really a tier one meta team out of these guys until you really get your Galactic Legend. So that's okay, right? You still end up with some relic characters. My reasoning behind this was tying it to ships and some of the other things that I'm hoping over time get better. And I did get, Papa Palps, as a Relic 7 as part of the bargain as well. And he's been a really fun character. The Vader rework couldn't have came at a better time, right? To be able to tie Palpatine and Vader. I'm actually kind of sitting on Vader here. It's really tempting to go ahead and relic him up right now. But, once you start a farm, has been my rule, you finish the farm. Otherwise, you'll just never get done. And this farm has been arduous in terms of resources and kind of plotting where you need to take your things to. So, that said, to kind of give you an idea where I'm at, I'm a free-to-play player. Typically around 75 rank in, I guess the player versus player, and the ships I'm generally around 50. I generally see about 150 crystals coming into my account outside of the daily quests, things like that to today. So not a hardcore free-to-play player. I play fairly casually. I do get all my, I go through my stores through the day. I get all through all the stores and get what I need. I do collect all the things I can as a free-to-play player though. So I check in 3 times a day basically to get what I need. Sometimes if I'm up late, I'll get the fourth store in the middle of the night, but I don't stay up for it, I guess you could say. So all that said, it's been 2 months. Where am I at with my account? So the very first video, and I'll put that up above here, I started off by relicking Kylo Ren Unmasked. It was my first order relic, and since then it's been 2 months, and you can see I've made some pretty decent progress. Right as of right now, Kylo Ren Unmasked is completed. First order officer is completed. Fox should have him done tomorrow. I think I need the 15 flawed signal data, and I want to talk about his relic. Well, I want to talk about all the relics for these in general because there's one piece and there's been several videos on it that I kind of ignored, but I think it's really important for saving you resources and stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. Captain Phasma is now complete. Hux is complete. Papa Palp is complete. So we're about halfway there. Kylo Ren Masked was a real bear to get to Relic. I don't know why his pieces took me forever, and I was dumping all my yellow energy and all my blue ship energy into him for a good 3 or 4 days to get him Relic. It was a real pain. I don't know why. Some of the characters were super nice. I don't think, Phasma's super easy. Fox is super easy. So some are tougher than others. I think that's to be expected, and that's okay. So you can see I'm probably about, a little less than halfway through. Definitely have the beginnings of some teams. These have been helpful in GAC. Like I said, they're not the most powerful teams in the game. That's okay. If you can force someone to use a tier 1, 2 tier, maybe even a tier 3 team on these, that's a good thing. And I think as I get sort of some of these other characters up to snuff, those teams will get better. Like I said, Palps with Vader has been a really nice surprise. Couldn't be happier about that investment. And Palpatine, I said this in the first video, I don't think that's a character who in general is going to go anywhere, you know, in the Star Wars universe. They've not introduced a new one, even with the new movie, which I was kind of surprised about. So that's Palpatine. That's or Emperor Palpatine. I mean, that's the only one in the game. I can't see them letting that get too far out of whack. Just like Vader, right? They took and they upgraded him. Vader really is the only Vader in the game. So, you know, over time, if he got too weak, I think that he would come around. That said, still a super fun character, super strong and useful. So let's go into sort of our journey guide and see where we're at, just kind of for reference here. You can see I've got 5 of the 6 I don't know what that thing is. This one's better. 5 out of 13 quests done. And you can see, you know, we're just kind of going through these. So a check mark in almost all the categories. The finalizer is actually coming along fairly decently. Let's take a look at where we're at there. I think we're due in a day or two for that to show back up. So I'm at 40 of 65. I think it's roughly a week and a half, so a month and a half-ish until I get him to the star level he'll need to be. And Hux is already reliced up, so that's been cool. I mentioned this in the last video, having this ship with Kylo Ren unmasked relic has been really helpful in that event. The event isn't that bad, but it does make it a lot simpler to get through. You don't have to spend a lot of time kind of going back and forth and trying to get through it each time it reappears. So I think that's actually coming up. Let's take a look here. There is the one for the light side. Oh, it's not in here yet, so it should show up in the next day or so, which is cool. So that said, I did want to talk about the relicing up your characters. I think this is super important from a resource perspective. And if you've not seen the videos on this before, or if you don't know about this for relicing up characters, this is important. So I wanted to cover this today. So this particular piece, when you get to Relic, when you're going from 4 to 5, is really kind of aggravating to get. And so if you go into the scavenger here, you can see you're using some pretty decent gear to kind of do this. And it doesn't really give you a lot. Like if you do 50 of these, like you can see you're only, you know, you needed to use 100 items to get those 20 heat sinks. So what the other videos and what I want to show you guys today is you can actually use these pieces. Oops, not those pieces, these pieces. So these the M key 3s make these. So these are actually completed pieces, okay? So if you were to put those in, I can't actually don't have enough to show you, but you can see 33 only gets you 6. But if you combine these, you can see that, actually I don't have to do this, let me get rid of back down to 1. If I just put one of these in, I get 10, right? So one of these, I get nothing. And so even if you put all 33 in here, you get less than you would get for a combined piece, right? And these only cost 10 to craft. And so let me show you this so it makes more sense. But basically, these are far less valuable than when they're combined. And so what you want to do is you want to go and find a character where you can craft this part at. So Veteran Smuggler Han. Sorry, wrong one. Oh, that was him, actually, sorry. Nope, not him. There we go. Captain Han Solo, that's who I meant. So you can see I have this piece and he's required, and it takes 20 of these to craft it. So what you want to do is you want to buy these, and these show up in all the stores, and they show up in the day-to-day store sometime, the free store or the really cheap store, the first tab. They also show up in a couple of the other stores. I try to actually just use the first tab to get these because they're just something you can kind of farm as you go along. But once you craft this, you'll get a full one, so you can see I have 5 now. You don't want to equip it. But when you come back here and you're going to relic these characters up, that piece now can be used for salvage. And you can see I only need 2 of these completed. So basically I'll get, for 40 of these items, I get enough to get this part. Whereas if I, you know, like you saw here, well, that's not it. They're gone now since I've done them. But anyways, it's a far better value. Just take my word for it. Make sure you craft those MK3s into full pieces. Don't equip them and then do them here, and you'll save a mound of materials. These things, like, you don't want to use stun guns. Those are, you know, too hard to come by. All of these parts, you know, from here to here, like, they're just too high quality. So once you get to Relic 4 and you need to do that, make sure you do the MK3 item here. It's been in the game for a long time. Don't think it's going anywhere. Matter of fact, you might even want to like lock these pieces. I don't know why I haven't done that yet, but we'll lock them now. There we go. And so you want to lock these, use these, okay? So that will save you some good deals on your actual, for the salvager. What's that dude's name? What's your name, dude? I don't remember. Scavenger. Okay. So that said, I did want to show you guys one last thing, and we flip over to it here. So this is something I've been tracking, and I'll put the link down below in the description, but this is just something I put together to kind of track my progress. So you can see I update this typically on Sundays and just kind of show what relic level they're at. I like spreadsheets, they're geeky, I get it, but I kind of wanted to track my progress. And so what I did is I took and I converted the relic levels into gear levels and just said they go up to 20, and then I just kind of filled these out as I went along. And so what that allowed me to do is kind of do a completion percent for each of my characters. And so this is a gradient from red to green as they kind of draw completion, and you can see where I'm at with each one. And then the more interesting part of it, and the part I've been kind of keeping an eye on, is week to week, what percentage do I actually make progress with these characters. So you can see this week I did 3%, this week I did 4%, this week I did 5%, actually that's not a bad week. 3 again, 3 again. So on average it looks like I'm getting about 3% progress per week per character. So, just doing some basic math here, it looks like I got about 7 more weeks of farming and putting stuff together. There may be some hiccups trying to get some of these guys to relic, or it may be hard to get relic materials or the like, but at least gives me kind of a rough look at where I'm at. So that said, if we are looking at 7 more weeks, we're looking at a little less than 2 months, which means my farm will end up being just a little bit less than 4 months. That actually, in the scheme of things, isn't terrible. There were some, Jedi Knight Revan and some of those characters. The farm was probably not much shorter than that for free to play, maybe 3 months, something along those lines. But I like this because I can at least see the progress where I'm going. Obviously, the greener this gets, the happier I get, the closer I get to my GL. But it is, at least as a visual representation of what you can expect as a player like me to kind of do the progress through this. So this is what free-to-play people do in their spare time, because we don't have enough money, we don't invest enough money to keep kind of progressing our characters forward, so we make meta games of the game to keep ourselves occupied. But that's part of the game, right? And so again, this is just a kind of full overview. At this point, I have all my characters at 7-star. You can see I was working on the Sith Trooper last. So now it's simply gear at this point. Got to get them up to the right gear level and finishing up the finalizer. So that said, the farm will continue. That's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll plan on doing another video in a month from now, and I'm hoping that the video after that will be me unlocking GL Kylo. I will probably either stream that, or I will do a capture of it as I do it, just for fun, to see all the hard work pay off. It is kind of a long and arduous process, but again, it's part of the game, right? If you're free to play, that's the grind. That's what you got to do. Anyways, that's my video for today. I hope you liked it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want some more Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes content. I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks.